All right, well, it's time. All right, I'm going to mute everybody. It is time, yeah. Wow, I think my clock is a little slow. Sorry about that. Okay. Sit with your least favorite crossing, this being an odd day. And when I do that, I require some extra support. So I don't have this leg just hanging. So I'm just going to put that there. Reach up, lean forward and move the buttock flesh away and out to the side. And then use your hands by the hips. And usually, I know for myself, I have to go back more than I think I have to go back, right? Usually we're pitched forward or we're focused on this, looking at the screen. So don't be focused at looking at the screen, but instead look within. Your eyes can just be a little bit above your horizon. Now keep that, get that length of the spine and the broadness across the chest. Feel those collarbones broadening. And then bring your hands to your heart. If you have glasses, take those off. See that your head is over the base of the spine. So still usually that's, we're always head forward. So bring that head back. And don't allow the abdomen, the ribs to poke forward, but just let them go back and rest. Have a restful abdomen. So first you've paid attention to the physical body and you've sorted that out. And now I'm reminded of the song. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in, I'm dating myself. So now, see what condition your condition is in. That's the mind. Bring it to the subject at hand. Hatha Yoga Nushasana. Now begins the subject of yoga. And we have to forge this connection between the body and the mind. Simply said, I know, but very difficult to do. Can you connect your mind with what the body is doing? And you may join me or just say it silently and on your own. The inhalation, raise up that spine just a bit more, broaden across the chest. On the exhalation, bow your head down. Salute the soul within. Release your hands on your thighs and then slowly lift the head up and open the eyes. I forgot to get my other iPad on so that I could have two screens today. Oh, it's terrible of me. All right. The strap. I'm going to do Adho Mukha Virasana with the strap to pacify the groins. So I'm a little bit enough away from my other props up there. And I'm going to put this underneath the shins and around the top of the thighs. And I'm really going to make it very snug. Very snug. Now, not so snug that you can't go forward, right? But snug enough to pull those outer hips in together, and for the groins, the top of the thighs to roll in, and for the groins to be absolutely pacified. I can already tell I haven't done it tight enough. So there I am. My knees are just, they aren't way wide, but they're just outside my hips. Just a little bit wider than my hips. So I go forward very slowly, and I keep the hips back, and I keep the pelvis level. So I think we all know that we're asymmetrical. Life has made us asymmetrical. So if you know that, okay, I know that this pelvis, it tilts. I have an anterior tilt on my right pelvis. So I know that. So I'm working with that abnormality in my right pelvis, and I keep it back, and I try to keep the hips level, level, level. Slowly I walk forward. Don't be in a hurry to put your head down. So those ribs must lengthen out along your trunk, along your thighs. And then lastly, head down. Absolutely pacify the hip outer, the groins. No work in the legs. Yeah, and the strap should be at the very top of the thighs and underneath your ankles. Yeah, you had that right, Mike, but you didn't get it underneath your ankles. And reach, reach, reach the arms. Abdomen is soft. It's just nice and lengthened. Okay, don't worry about it, Mike. Okay, now take that strap off. Inhale and come up. Okay. Take 2 bricks. So I'm just going to steal the one that I had there at my wall. So let me preface this with something, because Marcia was in a workshop that I did this weekend. I don't think anybody else was there. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was from my teacher, Chris Sadek, and it was all about the hips. And if I had not done any of this stuff before, I wouldn't be teaching it today. But I had done all of it before. And what it did is it kind of reminded me, like, whoa, Sheryl, you need to revisit some of this stuff. This is really, really good work. So we'll be doing some of that today. Why else did I bring that up? For another reason. But anyway, just have a look. So here I am. I'm going to go back a little bit so you can see most of me. The bricks are in the same orientation. Can you see that I've got 2 bricks in the same orientation? I put the bottom brick between my 2 feet, and I close up the feet, and I'm not so much pressing especially the ankle bones. That doesn't feel very nice. But all I want you to do is feel the contact of the brick with your feet. So make your feet that active, but not so much that you're hurting the bones of your feet, or those of you who have bunions, careful with that toe side. But I do want you to feel the contact of the brick. Okay, now remember, same orientation of the top brick. So it goes up here, all the way up as close as you can get it, in between the thighs. Okay, now first you're feeling the floor, the evenness of the 2 feet. Then you're feeling the evenness of the contact of the 2 sides of the brick on each feet. Okay, then you look down, and I already gave it away when I told you about my right hip having an anterior tilt. It tilts this way, goes. Anyway, so I look down at the block, and I see physically that this side is higher and that's because of that tilt. So I have to work it to untilt and make that brick level from the hip work. Don't do it from your feet. Yes, I want you to stay in contact with the skin that's on the brick, where the brick is on the floor, but look down at your brick and keep pushing that brick back, hug it with your outer hips, more than your feet. Squeeze that brick and take the brick back. Okay, then arms like Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back and lift the sides of your chest, look straight ahead. Be strong in the arms. Your legs should be working. Move that brick back from the outer hips, squeezing in, not your inner groins. Outer hips, push the brick back. I don't know if you can feel that. If you can't, please chime in, chat, tell me. So outer hips back. The groins have to spin backwards. They have to go back towards that wall behind you. Okay, now take Urdhva Hastasana, just go parallel to the floor here. And now turn your palms to face the floor. And now go up. So palms face forward. Reach up, so the whole front of the body is really, really tall. Don't lose contact with the brick on the feet or the brick between the thighs. Outer hips. Take that brick back. Good, and then release. Take Urdhva Badangulyasana. Hands together, your favorite cross is what usually happens. Turn the palms away from you. Exhale, take the arms up. You're still making contact with the brick on the floor, with the skin. Is it even? I know, guess what? My right one doesn't want to work. Okay, and these are the things of self-evaluation that we have to figure out when we're practicing like this. I can lead you, as Chris said yesterday in the class, in the workshop, I can lead you to try to find out what your work is that you have to do. Other crossing of the palms, hold shoulders down, hit that brick back, and go up. Grow tall and taller in the pose. Move the tailbone forward, thighs back. Tailbone forward and lift your pelvis right off your legs. Okay, and then release. Third thing. Okay. So this brick goes back at the wall the long way. I want to make sure everybody sees this. This brick is going to be here. So here is there's my setup. Make sense? Okay. So you'll see me from the front now, but I just wanted you to see a close-up of that. Sorry about the camera moving all over the place. Okay, here we go. I'm your mirror image. So I will step, you will step your right leg up on that quarter round / rolled sticky mat. Make sure oh yeah, there may have been some people who didn't get the rolled sticky mat. So the rolled sticky mat is a tightly rolled extra sticky mat. And then I just put some rubber bands on either end. And then it's up against that brick, which is long against the wall. And you'll see why it needs to be long against the wall. You have another brick here behind you for the bottom arm. Is everybody ready? Okay, this is medicine for the hip. Medicine for the hip. Hips. So I'm going to put the ball of the foot up on that quarter round rolled sticky mat. Then I'm gonna step the back leg way back. Okay, now go ahead and look at your right leg and see that it's turned out. Turn it out. Oh, if anybody has, okay, like Marsha or anybody else who has hip replacement, or you're gonna be needing hip replacement, here's my suggestion. So you take another strap, it's looped, it's long. I'm putting it around the top of that thigh. I go outside strap to inside strap. There, and it's helping me turn that thigh out. Press firmly down into that ball of the foot. Inhale, reach up that top arm. If you don't have the strap, if you're not working with the strap, you're just reaching up both arms like this, and you're lengthening the two sides of the trunk up. Okay, now watch, this is important. I'm gonna go over with the back hand on the hip. I'm gonna go over to the wall. Now, I'm gonna stay here and work to scoot that bottom or front leg buttock under me more and turn my pelvis, bottom to top, turn my ribs, bottom floating ribs to top floating ribs, turn my chest, bottom to top. So I'm stopping and waiting there. All the while, boy, is that right leg pulling up into the hip socket, and the back leg is staying back. The back hip is staying back. Don't let it come forward. Okay, then I say to myself, let me get that hand on the brick, bottom hand on the brick. Now the top arm is going to reach to the wall, along your ear, behind your ear if you're able. Traction the bottom hand towards you. Pull the bottom hand towards you as you extend the side body towards the wall. Don't forget about how much that bottom thigh has to work, and it has to stay in the socket. Turn the trunk any amount. Turn, turn, turn. Then if you'd like, you can take that top arm up, keep tractioning the bottom hand forward. Yeah, and then inhale and stand up. How'd it go? Yes, Chaya likes it. Mike, I'd say a little bit more space between the two legs. You need a lot of room to make space for those hips. Yeah, and don't, even if you're not sure you would benefit from the strap, try it. Okay, now here's the truth be told, because I'm going to turn my back to you. So if you want to watch for a second and see my because this is my worst leg, my bad hip, my osteoporotic hip. So I'll do, in fact, watch and come up to your camera and see if you can watch. In fact, I'll bring it even closer. I hope that's close enough. Just don't want it to fall on the floor. To see if you can see the back hip, how that back hip has to pull in. I'll just put that there so you can see my foot up on that quarter round, my back leg back. I'm going to go ahead and do this outside to inside. Did I do that right? Outside to inside, yeah. Okay, so here's what this hip wants to do. Here's what it wants to do. No, I have to move that hip under me. Can you see the difference? And I have to pull the femur into the socket. In essence, the your left sitting bone now will go towards your back heel. So this, because this is my right leg now, it's going this way, away from that back leg. So I reach up, extend. I stop here, and I turn. Turn the bottom ribs. Don't let the back hip come forward. Turn. I say, okay, that's all I got. Okay, then I switch. Then the hand goes to the grip, and I traction that hand towards me, and then the top arm can go to the wall. Never giving up the work in pulling up that outer left thigh for you guys. Turn the trunk. I'm going to come and watch. Head back, Mike. Head way back. Keep your head in line with your spine. All right, let's see, Sopo. Make sure that your alignment is still the same as it would be for traditional Utthita Trikonasana, in that your front heel bisects your left instep. Now move your front leg buttock towards its back heel, towards the other back heel. Now, Mike, now you have to switch hands. One hand comes outside your right calf, outside your right calf, and then the top arm goes to the wall. Reach the top arm to the wall. Reach. Now turn. Watch the head, Marsha. Head back, reach the trunk, and turn it. All the while, your mind has to stay in that front leg femur, moving in, tucking under you more, and that top hip staying back. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. How is it, folks? Good. All right, inhale and come up. Okay, so there's a bunch of these. I'm going to try to show you the best of the best. I think as much, well, let's just do that one again. I think it's too important. Let's do it again. Because this morning, I started practicing at 5:30 this morning. And when the second time I did this pose, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally starting to get it. Okay, so your right ball is up on the quarter round rolled sticky mat. I reach both arms up. Reach. Turn and suck that right thigh in. And now go over to the wall. Right away, you can go over to the wall, or, if that helps you, the first time I let you keep the right hand on the wall and the top arm on the hip. If that helps you to keep turning, that's fine. And then bottom hand down on the brick, top arm to the wall. Keep turning, keep pulling that outer hip femur into the socket. Push your groins forward, or into the body more. Because the hip wants to go out and the buttock wants to stick out, but we have to move it into the body more. Okay, and then take the top arm up. Still traction that bottom arm to extend the side body. And then inhale and come up. Change sides. I'll watch you this time. Left foot up on the roll, and it's just that ball mount. So don't have the arch of the foot on the roll, just the ball mount. Okay, arms up like Urdhva Hasta. Arms up. You've turned the left thigh out, or whatever leg is in front. Yeah, be as straight as your hips will allow you to be, as far as your trunk over your hips. Okay, now you've turned the front leg out. Okay, and now reach over to the wall with the bottom arm. So your hand, the bottom hand, some of you are going right leg, some of you are left. So bottom hand touches the wall, And now keep extending the side body. Keep going, keep driving that front leg, turned out hip socket, front femur into the socket. And now find the brick with your bottom arm. And now you can reach your top arm overhead to the wall as long as your back hip hasn't rolled forward. As long as your back thigh hasn't rolled forward, head back. Yeah, don't let that thigh, you're doing really well, Chaya, but I'd say your thigh has to go back more. Your back thigh has to push back more, and the front leg buttock, other way. So front leg buttock has to reach forward in under the body more, and the back leg buttock has to go, hip has to go back. Hard to get all these straight. All right, now inhale and come up. Okay, so we'll move on because I think this, the subsequent ones you get, Utthita Trikonasana kind of sets the stage. And I will show you, I think I'm going to show you from the back side. So you need a foam brick. If you don't have a foam brick, you could use a cork brick, or you can use a wood brick, but please don't let it fall on your foot.
Can you see me? Can you see me at all, Sheryl?
Yeah, it's better than most days.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure when I don't hear anything, I'm wondering if you can actually see me.
No, you're doing well.
Okay,
right,
good.
So now watch. I'm going to change this to this way. Make sense? I'm going to show you from the back. So I'll do my right leg first. So I'm just going to get that foot up on that roll. I'm going to just bend the knee until I can get that grip. Thigh has to be parallel. And now here's your work. This buttock has to tuck under. The trunk should stay more or less upright. The back leg has to stay back. So I'm just going to ask you to just do this part of the pose. This might help you get to here. Okay, so you have use the brick, guys. This is kind of a hard concept to get, but can you use that foam brick to pull the front leg thigh bone back into its socket? Has to pull back into the socket. And now push away from the wall a little bit, Mike. Yeah, push yourself away from the wall and feel that opening across the pelvis. Try to remain upright and that thigh parallel to the floor. Try to get that thigh to the parallel to the floor. Yes, nice, Suzette. And Doug. Yeah, you can keep your hand on the brick, or if it helps you to reach the arms up. So imagine I'm there standing right in front of your pelvis, and I'm going to put a rope on around your sacrum, and I'm going to pull both of your sitting bones forward towards me. So that tailbone even has to move forward, both of the sitting bones forward. Okay, now Kathy Beckman, I can't see you. I see a great view from the side, and it looks like you're doing really well with that, keeping the buttock tucked in, but I can't see your uprightness. Are you managing to be mostly upright? And the front thigh is parallel to the floor. You have to stretch that back leg. It has to stay strong. Okay, and now come up. Yeah, that's what happens if you let the pressure off the brick. It will fall, so careful with that. Second side. Virabhadrasana 2 work. So you're placing the foot up on that height. You know, if I didn't have my quarter round. If you're serious about this path, go to yogalifestyle.com and order a quarter round. I love the firmness that my quarter round gives me. Now, I have to pull the thigh back into the socket, stretch that back leg back, watch your alignment that your front heel bisects your left instep. Ooh, this is my worst hip. Now, I can take my hand here. I can take my hand off the wall and put the hand that was on the wall on the front of the pelvis, the hand that is behind the back leg hand, I can put it on the sacrum. And I can help myself turn the sacrum from left to right. And pull that outer hip in. So someone's got your two sitting bones and are pulling them forward. Yeah, and if this helps. So Mike, can you look? So Mike, you're a little bit like this. So here. Upright, both arms. Yeah, do what you can. I know this is medicine for the hips. Right, Marcia? Medicine for the hips. Yeah. It was really cool to do it Sunday and then get up this morning and do it again and go, oh yeah, I need to do a lot more of this. Okay. All right, go ahead and come up. Okay, now this one is a bit different. All right, if you do not own cut up little pieces of sticky mat, here's what you can do. One brick on the floor, long ways out of the wall. The other, the sticky mat goes on top. Like that. If you own those, then you don't have to do that. You do that, and you stack those bricks. Is that understood? I just don't want your bricks to slip. They may not, but it's just extra precaution. And if you have a choice, please use wood or brick, cork, not a foam brick. All right, so this is Virabhadrasana 1. Virabhadrasana 1. We can do the same leg. So I step my entire foot up on the brick. If you know, my foot just happens to fit the perfect size of the brick. If your foot is longer, you just have to bend your toes. Okay, so it's here. And now I step the back leg back. I can, if my hips are stiff, I can turn the back heel in more. Does that make sense? Totally allowable. So I'm gonna just have it at that, 60-degree angle. Okay, now this is gonna be a movement thing. So I'm gonna put the front hand leg on the sacrum with the fingers pointing down. The back hand is gonna be the front leg. The front hand is the back leg. Does that make sense? And now I'm gonna bend and go down. Bend and go down. So what I want you to feel when you've got your hand on that back side, I want you to feel whether or not your back leg buttock is hardening. It should not. So if you can reach your fingertips across the sacrum on the back side, I said fingertips pointing down. Reach them a little bit across the sacrum. Now head back, Mike, head back. Yes, there you go. Now just bend and straighten and tell me whether that buttock is hardening. Bend, straighten. Don't let the back leg buttock harden. And Sopo, don't list. You're listing to the right side. Your whole right side is collapsing. Bend and straighten. Do that 4 or 5 times. Okay, and then come off, change legs. We're gonna hold in just the second time around. Remember, stiffer hips. You can turn your back heel in more, so it's almost pointing straight ahead.
Cheryl, is the back leg buttock supposed to stay soft?
Yes,
Back leg.
the back leg buttock is supposed to stay soft,
Okay, thank you.
but the thigh has to be firm front to back. So
Okay.
if you use those front quadricep muscles, it shouldn't harden the hamstring and the buttock too terribly much.
Okay.
So then, so I've got right now, my left leg is on forward and my hand is pretty much cupping most of my right buttock, but a little bit is on my sacrum on the left side. So I can feel that my sacrum is straight up and down. And I'm just feeling that right buttock and it's soft. And I bend and straighten, bend and straighten, bend and straighten, and then enough. Change sides. So now you get to hold. Can you guys get a strap real quick? Get a strap. Make a loop in it so it's pretty long. Watch me first. Base of the skull. Thumbs hooked.
We can't see your arms.
Oh no. I'm just adding something from another teacher actually, but I found it really nice. Let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to see. I may just have to take it off the stand and hope it doesn't fall down. Okay. Right leg is up on the bricks. I step back. I try to, from the firmness of the back leg thigh, pressing back, I keep that left buttock soft. I bend into my square. And I keep lifting up the trunk. Now you have your arms to help you. So I've got my thumbs hooked. Can you see that? Thumbs hooked. And it's at the base of my skull. I'm serious, Marcia. It feels wonderful on my neck. Don't let the ribs poke forward. Keep the outer femur of the bent knee really, really strong. And the back leg strong. Okay, are we doing it? So Kathy Lindauer, bring your trunk back over the base of the hips and make that back thigh work. Now bend and go down into your square without collapsing the lower pelvis. Yeah, now Mike, you're turning to face that bent knee. You understand? Yes, you're turning. Turn that back foot in more. Back toes can point toward the wall more. Yeah, and now Suzette, can you bend any more in that crease of the hip? Your feet don't look very far apart, your legs. Walk that back thigh back any amount. Your left buttock should be nice and soft. And now you've got your arms to help you keep the lift of the trunk from the bottom of the pubic plate. Lift it up. Nice, Marcia. Is it okay on your neck? Yay. You're listing a little, Chaya. Your left, right side is drooping. Lift up that right side. Pull with your arms. Straighten your back leg, Doug. Okay, and now inhale and come up. Okay, so some of you need to watch this alignment of this front bent knee. I'm seeing some of this. I don't get any support from my hips when this is out of alignment. So I have to bend enough and get that knee right over that Achilles. So in other words, the bottom of the pelvis should have a descending quality to it. It should ascend from the work of the backside. From the work of the backside. Okay, second time or second side. Last time Virabhadrasana 1. Yeah. Reach up the front of the trunk. Bend and go down. Bend your knee more, Mike. Bend your front knee. Pull the outer thigh of that bent knee back into the hip socket and make it firm there. And now pull up on those arms. Reach up. Good. Better. Yeah. Straighten the back leg, Kathy. Linda. Okay. All right, and now release, and then just have a watch. Moving on to Ardha Chandrasana. I'm going to urge you to do it this way, and you could either, well, you know, I'll show it with the chair. And you can make your choice, whether you want a chair or the brick, but I'll show it both ways. This is truly medicine for the hip, and how I'm going, it's more not necessarily the pose, it's how I'm going to have you do it. It's more or less bend, drive, you'll bend the front standing leg, you'll drive the hip into the hip socket, and then you'll straighten. So it's bend, drive the hip into the hip socket, femur into the hip socket, and then straighten. So watch. You're going to be close enough to the wall. Notice how I'm totally facing the side I'm going to. My trunk is facing this way. So I bend. I'm going to bend both legs, but I keep the right knee really bent. I'm going to get my elbow to the chair. You know what? I'm going to show you both ways, so I'll have the block ready. I bend. I get the elbow on the chair just a little bit outside this foot. You see? Yeah. Then I cross it over the chair. Okay, I bend it. I turn the trunk towards the wall. Okay, now this is what I meant about that bending, driving the outer hip into the socket and straighten. So I bend, drive the hip into the socket and straighten. Bend, drive that outer femur into the socket, turn the trunk. So bend, drive, straighten. Bend, drive, and the driving is the femur firm into the socket. The back foot always stays at the wall. Back foot stays at the wall. Okay, you ready? So put your right side along the wall, Mike. Right side. Let's everybody do the same side. Okay, so bend both knees, squat a little bit, and place your right elbow across the chair. There you go. Okay, now you're keeping, sorry, did I say that wrong? You were right, Mike, left side along the chair, but don't change now. Just do the other leg. Just do the other leg. Yeah, so your face, you're gonna turn, bend a lot, turn, bend a lot, keep the standing leg, which is the leg that's away from the wall, the leg away from the wall. And now bend, drive that hip in, put put your left toes on the wall or right toes, whatever you're doing. So 5 times. So Chaya, your front foot, did you start that right, Chaya? Your front, all of me is facing this way, right? The feet are facing all this way. I bend, I place. I'm standing on my outer leg is my right leg. I keep it bent, and I go ahead and get the left toes on the wall. My right leg is still really bent. Then I'm bending, I'm straightening, and moving the groin closer to the wall in front of me. Then move that outer hip in. Tuck the buttock under you more. Huh. Yes, Suzette? Are you good? Excuse me. Yeah. So you still have to stretch the back leg, but keep the toes on the wall. 5 times. Bend, drive that outer hip in under you more, and then straighten the leg. You should be facing the wall at the end of the pose. You should be totally facing the wall. It's a little harder, and I can understand, Doug, if you don't want to do it that way, it's fine.
Let me even out.
Yeah, there you go, Chaya. Yeah. Bend more. Now, before you start to straighten, only have your mind in that outer right hip and bring the groin closer to the wall. Now lift your top hip up. Lift your top, not your leg, your hip.
Sheryl, is the chair all the way to the wall, or is there space between?
Mine is right next to it.
Oh, okay.
But here, I'll do the second side with just the block. Okay, second side. Now you're standing with your right leg, sorry, Mike, along the wall. You squat down, you find the brick. I'm gonna go on the second height. I'm squatting down, I have both knees bent. I start to turn to the wall and get the top arm up the wall. Both knees still really bent. Then both bottom knees still really bent. And I go ahead and place, I'm too close to that wall. I go ahead and place the leg that's closest up at the wall, the toes on the wall. Okay, now I bend, drive that hip in, and straighten. Bend, drive that hip in, the groin forward towards the wall, and straighten. Bend, drive, straighten. Bend, drive, straighten. So what the goal is to get that right out the outer leg groin closer and closer to the wall as you keep lifting that top hip up. Yeah, so could you see, let me show from this way, Doug. Because you look so like you're getting strangled with the wall. Can you still see me? So this might be more telling. So I'm trying to get this buttock to come in under my hips.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be, this hugging into the wall. Your elbow is bent and it's just the fingertips on the wall. Okay, we have one more. One more that we're going to do today. There you go. Yeah. Keep your toes on the wall. Flex the heel, flex it, flex the foot. Yeah. Keep your top toes on the wall. Okay, now move your top hip away from the wall. But not the foot. Not the foot. straighten that standing leg, bend and straighten. That looks good, Mike, except for your head. Head back, head back. Yeah, I want you to get away from these shoulder problems that you have had in the past. So that head has to stay centered over the spine. Okay, I'm tiring some people out, huh? All right. Grab your chair. Have your, let's see, right side along the wall. Parsvanasana. So you step your right leg forward so the toes are just underneath your chair and your left leg way back. Before you go over, can you level out your hips? So you press that back thigh back and make sure that that back buttock is soft. The groins have to inwardly turn and go back. Here, and go back, back. And now I start to go forward. So I just go forward as much as I can keep the weight on both legs evenly. And maybe my arms just go to my ears. Then I keep the hips level. You can tell if you keep that right hip along the wall, grazing the wall, you can pretty much tell if you're able to keep those hips level. So the hips must remain absolutely level. Yeah. Reach out more, child. Reach, reach, reach. Yeah, that looks really nice, Suzette. Keep pressing the back thigh back. Keep your hips absolutely level. Don't let the head go down more than the arms though, Mike. Don't let the head go down. Look at your chair seat. Yeah, that makes the back better. I'm either looking for a concave back or I'm looking for just a flat back. Nice, Kathy Beckman. We've always done this pose so beautifully. All right. Okay, now can you put your hands on your hips and come up on the strength of those outer hips pulling in toward each other? Okay, and now take your chair to the other side. Now your left hip is along the wall. Step it forward. Right leg back. Okay, from here, this is you do what, self-analysis, self-evaluation. Excuse me, do what you need to do. Here's what I need to do. I'm going to bend that back leg and try to square off my hips here and lift this bottom of the pelvis. Then I'm going to try to see, can I keep that? And then straighten the leg. Ah. Then I go forward from those level hips. And I reach all the way forward. Push that chair forward. To move more forward, push your chair more forward. Outer hips firm, compact. Squeeze in toward each other. So you guys like it, to prefer it to be standing poses all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. That looks nice, Mike. Good job. Yeah, if you want to complete the pose and you can keep your hips absolutely level, you may complete the pose. Head on the shin. Okay. All right, now inhale and come up. Taking Uttanasana with your chair. So I'm just gonna, just so I can scoot the chair forward. We're gonna go about, I'm gonna say between 12 and 15 inches away from the wall with my heels. Just hip width is fine. I want to pull my thighs up and roll the tops of the thighs in. First, I want to go all the way forward, but I want to feel that the hamstrings are going up towards the buttocks and the buttock flesh is actually coming over the top of my hips. So I'm here to work on that. Don't distend your ribs. Do you know what that means? So here I'm just distending my ribs. So I have to keep those ribs tucked in. Go forward. And maybe I go to the floor. Maybe I hold the backs of my ankles. Bend the elbows out to the side. Head down. Yes, the toes still have to extend forward. The thighs still have to pull upwards, away from the kneecaps. All those things that you know typically to be of Uttanasana, the characteristics of Uttanasana. Okay. So Mike, stay there. All right. Can you guys see Mike? Look at your screens. So, I can tell he's working pretty hard in his legs, but let your head go, Mike, what you were doing before. Yeah. So you see how rounded he is in his upper spine. It's true in final Uttanasana that, there is a slight roundedness, but it looks to me like he would be better. So Mike, grab your chair again. Reach up, grab your chair again. Yeah. Now move your upper back, your thoracic spine in. Yes. That's a better pose for you now. Okay. Repeat what you were doing before and you tell me, what's the state of your mind between this and then do what you were doing before? Well, now he's doing slightly better because he knows what to work on, that thoracic spine. Yeah. So, this self-evaluation comes again. And, we can give you the tools, but you have to figure it out for yourself, what you need. We can lead you to figure things out on your own, but we can't figure it out for you totally. Yeah. All right. And now bring your hands to your hips and come up on the strength of your legs. And now everybody, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, not a long downward facing dog, just a nice, correct downward facing dog. We do it from all fours. Our hands are forward, then we can bring the weight into the palms. I tuck my toes. I'm going to come up with bent knees and push away from my hands. You can see how very bent my knees are. So I push. And then can I straighten without distending the ribs?
You have Mike spotlighted, Cheryl.
Oh, I do still. Oh, thank you. My ear. Replace spotlight. Here we go. Not that you guys need to see me do Adho Mukha Svanasana again. So let's see. So Mike, I'm going to say
put your heels a little bit up that baseboard. Go ahead. Yeah. All right. Now bend your knees just ever so slightly. Now move your thoracic spine in and your chest closer to your thighs. Push, push, move your chest. That's it. Now keep pushing your chest closer to your thighs. And now push your tailbone up to the ceiling and straighten your legs. Oh my gosh. That is so much better. Breakthrough, breakthrough. Stop the presses. Do you feel the difference, Mike? Thumbs up. Okay, good. Don't let your elbows bend, Kathy, Lindar. Suck those outer elbows in. Turn the very, very inner upper arms out. All right. All right, now release and come down. Have, I don't know, a 2 or, excuse me, 3 fold blanket. Let's see, for Bharadvajasana. We'll just do one twist before just to make sure we didn't do anything funny in the hips. I'm going to take this one and tri-fold it like that. And you will sit on your right hip with the feet out to the left. Oh, can't see me. Let me go back to the stand. There we go. I think I can get rid of this. Bharadvajasana. Have a brick behind you. So let's see. Let me show this way, I guess. This way. I'll turn towards you. How's that? Okay, so your left top of your ankle is in your right instep. Your both thighs are pointing straight ahead. I'm showing you the side view. Brick is behind me on its second tallest way. So first I sit up nice and tall. I descend the back leg hip. So, you know, I'm really trying to, you might have to figure out how you can roll the, I'll call your right leg, the front leg, roll that right thigh in so that you're sitting more on the inner buttock bone as opposed to the outer thigh. Make sense? Okay, so I'm sitting up nice and straight. I inhale, lift up, I exhale, I turn, just place the left hand on the outside of that right thigh, the right hand on the brick, and turn. So you're, yeah, you know what, this is the seat of our ego. This turns easily, but can you focus on turning here in this lower pelvic rim? Turn there first. Oh, that feels so good. You can keep this hand any which way that helps you the most. You can bend both elbows and turn. You can bend both elbows out to the side and turn. You can see how broad my chest is. Yeah. All right, and release both legs out to the side. Decompression of the backs of your knees. Just press them down. And then flop that blanket over to the left side. Sit up, take your feet to the right. Go a little bit more back so it's better. Okay, so I kneel up and I roll I'll call this the front leg because I'm turning towards the left. The left leg is the front leg. And I'll roll that front of the thigh in and the back of the thigh out. Oh, Bharadvajasana. So I sit up nice and straight. The right foot is in the left instep. Descend the top of that right thigh and hip. Inhale. On your exhalation, turn,
towards your left. Again, you know, not just turning from the chest region, but turning from the lower pelvis and hip area. Chin up. Roll that back shoulder back more and more. You can sit up on more hip height as needed. Like some of you might have to have more height under one buttock than the other if you're real uneven. That's just something that goes with, you know, practicing and knowing what you need in the pose. Mike, you're going a little bit, your trajectory is a little bit off center. So stay on your center axis. So in other words, you know, come back towards the center. Don't go backwards. Don't go backwards. Go more towards the center. Okay, and then release. All right. All right, so here's the deal. Those of you who regularly practice, how many of you?
I want to share something.
Yes, please.
Because of your hip work today.
Yep.
Bharadwajasana tone is very good. The Bharadwajasana is very, I can push down the hip and
Yeah.
I have like a different feeling.
Freedom in the pelvis comes. Freedom in the hips comes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So true. You're most welcome. See, you did the work. Awesome. All right. So here's what I was going to suggest. Those of you who practice Shirshasana, Marsha, you're not doing Shirshasana right now, right? No. Or so here's the deal. You can do Prasarita Padottanasana or Shirshasana. So my suggestion was going to be for everybody to do Prasarita Padottanasana as we did it in the workshop yesterday, Marsha, with a long strap. If you don't have a long strap, which means 8 foot or longer, you have to put 2 straps together. But if you don't want to do that, don't worry about it. Put your strap across the middle of your arch and take your feet apart. And now what I'll do is I'll keep the people who want to do Shirshasana, you'll do this first for just a minute. And then if you want to do Shirshasana, you come out and do Shirshasana. All right, now, strap or well, if you have the strap, listen, I know that we can push from our feet, but can you kind of not push so much from your feet and push from your hips, the firmness of your hips. Pull those outer hips in and up. Don't just push out with your feet. Make this area firm. And those groins have to, the thighs roll in, so the backs of the thighs open. And now come to your concave pose. You might feel, as I do, the tendency is to just push out in that strap, but push the groins away from each other. The 2 sitting bones, the 2 sides of the sacrum, feel that getting broader. Oh, it feels so good to me. Okay, now if you're one that puts your head down, take your fingers underneath both of your straps. You see how I'm doing that? So it's caught my wrists. And now I bend, put the head down, and stay. Press the palms, lift the shoulders up away from the neck, and move the elbows away from one another. Not so much that they're spinning outward, just ever so slightly. Crown of the head down. Okay, and then if you're doing Shirshasana, you come up, take your strap off, go to the wall, Anybody wants to do the prep work? I'll do the prep work with you. Ooh. Interlace the palms. If you're in Prasarita, you can just stay in Prasarita. My knuckles are grazing the wall. And I push the forearms down, move the shoulders back, away from the wall, back, away from the wall. And then I come up and I walk up and I just touch and go, touch and go. So I'm just putting my head not even on the floor, just touching my head to my thumbs, working on shoulder strength. So Chaya, this is the next step. You know, 10 times, little push-ups. Could you see well enough? Yeah, okay. All right, so if you're into your Shasana, reach your buttocks up. Imagine that you could, physically move the buttocks up higher along with the legs. It's true, they are two very separate units, but now the buttocks can help the legs to reach up. Roll the thighs in, upper thighs in, and the backs of the thighs out as you reach the buttocks up. And Mike, if you're done, take Chatuspadasana a couple times. So I'll let the Shirshasana people stay 1 more minute. The rest of us take your brick. The long, I'll show you this way, the long skinny way between the knees and the thighs. Can you see? It's like this, it's between my knees and my thighs. 30 more seconds for the Shirshasana people. Okay, the rest of us are going to move on to Chatuspadasana. You're going to do it 3 times, hold as long as you can, and then come down. So watch, I move the buttocks very close to the heels. I tuck my shoulders. Can you see the floor? Yes. Then I reach underneath and grab my sticky mat and move the shoulder blades away from my neck. It's not important that the feet are together, but toe in, heels out. Inhale, squeeze that brick and lift it. Move the hamstring through the buttocks. Traction your feet towards you to activate that hamstring. Traction, traction. I don't know if you can see this. Traction, traction. Yeah? Okay, Shirshasana people are done. Just let rest in Adho Mukha Virasana for ever so briefly. Come down in control. I'll show one more time the rest of you, but Marcia remembers. Make sure the brick is the skinny, long way between your knees and your thighs. So that's what it looks like. So Kathy and I don't know if Sopo was doing Shirshasana. So I've got that brick and I'm squeezing that brick. I lay down, bring the feet in close, toe in, and I'm already squeezing that brick. Take a hold of the edges of my sticky mat to tuck my shoulder blades and kind of scrub the shoulder blades away from my neck. Inhale, exhale, lift. Scrub the heels towards you. You can even pick up your toes, but don't drop your brick. Hold as long as you can hold it.
Squeeze the hamstring to the buttock flesh. Hamstring to buttock flesh. Hamstring to buttock flesh. Where the buttock crease is, lift, lift, lift. And pull the toes up, traction the heels towards your own self. Okay. Those of you who were already doing this, you're done. And you're gonna do Setu Bandha like this, like we did yesterday, Marsha. If you have one more time, because you were up in Shirshasana, do Chatus one more time. Here's your Setu Bandha. Here's the only requirement I'm gonna have. And that is your legs must be straight eventually. But I'm gonna give you an easy way to do it, really easy. And it would be great if you could have your feet on the wall. So the brick is gonna be this way across my back. So the wide, fat way across my sacrum. So watch. If I do this and I can just barely reach, that's generally a good distance. So I'm gonna say that's pretty good. I lift up, I put the brick, this second height, wide way, all the way across the sacrum. Okay, and now hold the sticky mat again, extend both legs straight, wrap your outer thighs that work so hard, wrap them in toward the groins and take those groins down. Press your feet into the wall, tuck your shoulders under. Hamstring to buttock still. Hamstring to buttock. Now, if that is super, super easy for you and you're a good back bender, you may switch your block to the tall way, like Sopo's already done. But it is not necessary. We did a lot of stuff that has taxed this front pelvic area. So I want to get that nice and open now. But try to straighten the legs. Roll and wrap those outer thighs from the sides of your hips, wrap them. You're wrapping a package, right? You go from the sides and you wrap to the inside. Yeah. Shoulders can be light. It's okay. If you're on the second height, the shoulders can be light. Just relax your arms after a bit like you did, like you would for Shavasana. Okay, now bend both knees in towards the chest. And now lift up to remove your brick and move from the upper back to the sacrum and lower in that direction. Okay, and then wait there for a moment. Make sure you're okay. Drop in to see what condition your condition is in. And now scoot the legs away from you and just lie flat. If that's a problem, then you need support underneath the backs of your thighs. That is fine as well. You could put a bolster, a couple blankets. If you're not sure what, bye. Thanks for coming. It's easy. Okay. Mike, the only problem is that you need a head blanket. See that your head doesn't drop back, because then the frontal brain is just way too active. See that the back of your neck is long, and there's almost like a seal the seal happens in Jalandhara Bandha when we bring the back of the head towards the frontal lobes. But you're not doing Jalandhara Bandha, but you want to have that idea. Okay, so now you check in with the physical body. And you make sure it's relaxed. Make sure that you're comfortable everywhere. If you're not, grab whatever creature comforts you usually use for Shavasana. And just be. Cover your eyes, cover yourself, remove your glasses, relax completely. Let go everywhere. All the asana work brings intelligence to the surface of us, right? It helps us get to know ourselves everywhere. So Shavasana is an asana. It's not sleep. It's actually a super conscious state. Observe, scan. I use that image of the headlamp when you go camping type idea, where you're scanning every part of the physical body. See that it's completely relaxed. And now the mind. If the space we create in the body is hoping to bring us to a state of nirodha, mental activity is not jumping from thought to thought. You created space, and you also created space in your mind to become calm, serene, benevolent, kind, not just to yourself, but to humanity. That's what this world needs. Let your breath be soft, softer yet still, because you're not needing it to work harder, to pump to any area of the body. Let go, let go, let go. Now take a couple of longer, slower inhalations and exhalations. And bring the mind back to the surroundings around you. And open your eyes ever so gently. And then bend the elbows one by one. Bend the knees one by one. Roll gently to your right side. Stay on your right side for a few breaths. And then slowly use your left hand, then your right hand. Head is the last thing that comes up. And sit up straight, tall. Just honor your practice and one another with a moment of quietude here. Bring your hands to your heart. Namaste.